Elie, a woman of high standing, finds herself locked in a bitter power struggle with Prince James. When she refuses to acknowledge his mistress with a royal title, James unleashes his fury. He subjects her to a brutal punishment, leaving her injured and alone. But Elie refuses to break. Despite the pain and the danger, she defies James's orders and refuses medical help. Her determination is unwavering, but can she survive her injuries and the prince's wrath? Will Elie survive the brutal punishment inflicted upon her by Prince James? Will she be able to find a way to heal her wounds and escape the prince's clutches? What will be the consequences of her defiance for both herself and the royal court?
"Milady?" Elie heard Florence's voice before she could open her eyes. She tried to move and found her back aching with pain every time she did. The lashes Prince James had given her as punishment had left her with open wounds on her back. Before she fainted, they needed to be packed with cloth. The room came into focus slowly. "My lady, you're awake!" Florence dropped what she was carrying and rushed over to Elie's side. Elie reached behind her back and found, to her surprise, that the wounds were bound. "You packed it?" "Yes, my lady. At first I was very confused about what you meant by packed, but then I remembered you put cloth on your wrist after Lady Nerissa cut you with that knife." Elie smiled faintly. "You remembered?" If it weren't for that, Elie would have definitely bled out. People in the 13th century did not know much about blood wounds, with wounds often left open. It was lucky Elie was actually a nurse and knew how to pack a wound, or, in other words, stuffing cloth in the wound till the blood flow stopped, which was the best way to save a person from bleeding out. But this was not the end, because now the real treatment would begin. Elie couldn't just lie here and wait to heal. She needed to treat the wounds and seal them properly. "Okay, Florence, I'm going to give you a list of herbs to get from the greenhouse." Elie wrote out the herbs she needed. She had spent some time teaching Florence which were which, so they could be better prepared for an event like this one. As soon as Florence rushed out, Elie managed to get out of bed. She turned her back to a mirror to see what the treatment plan needed to be. Florence had packed her wounds well, and thankfully the gashes were shallow. Elie's mind whirled with everything that had happened to bring her to this point. The back-and-forth battle against Nerissa and James. Elie was worried. She was losing her power already. Any more and she wouldn't be able to regain her title as princess. But first, she needed to recover. Florence returned with the herbs, and Elie instructed her. "First, you must take out the cloth and clean up the wounds. Use some of that soap and water together." "What if my lady bleeds again?" "It's been enough time. The bleeding should have stopped by now." Florence nodded, looking impressed. "I'm always so surprised my lady knows about the healing arts." Elie lay down and let Florence clean her back. "Yes, well, I told you, I went to a convent where I was taught by the best." "My lady could help other staff around the castle. That would make them like you. There are many people here with all kinds of ailments. Stewardess Maggie doesn't always call the witch doctor because she thinks they deserve to suffer." How cruel! Nerissa was effectively turning into the head of the house, but if Elie managed to get some staff on her side, she could have some support, and right now she desperately needed more allies. "It's done. I've finished cleaning the wounds," Florence said. "Good. Now make a paste of those round leaves with some water and apply it on my back. This will help the pain and inflammation." Florence got to work. When she was done, it was time to bandage. Elie tied a long piece of cloth around herself until she was sure it was tight. Florence tied the loose ends together, and Elie checked the work. "Not bad at all. It looks professional even." Florence beamed a big smile. "Now what?" "Now I must get some nourishment if I am to get better faster. Protein is best." Florence had no idea what that was. "Protein?" "Meat, and it would be best if it's in a stew with other vegetables. This way the wound will heal faster." Florence nodded. I will go check the kitchen, milady." Florence dashed off again as Elie realized how hungry she was. She needed to eat well if she was going to get better. Florence returned with nothing but a small dish. "I'm sorry, Your Highness. Stewardess Maggie caught me and told me that she wasn't allowed to send you any food. Prince's orders." Elie clenched her fists. James was hell-bent on killing her, if not from her wounds, then from starvation.
Elie's face hardened. James was playing a dangerous game. Starvation was a slow, agonizing death, and he seemed determined to see Elie suffer. But Elie was no ordinary girl. She had survived worse. She had faced down Nerissa, a woman steeped in dark magic. She had learned to heal in a harsh environment. She would not be broken by hunger. But how would she find a way to eat? Could she convince Florence to risk defying James? Or perhaps there was another way, a more cunning way to obtain the nourishment she desperately needed.
Hey, I'm Princess Eleanor. If you're wondering what happens next, download the Pocket FM app now and listen to the exciting episodes of Royal Stitches.